When are you reviewing Ratchet and Clank? Eventually.
Hey Square Jack, I was just wondering if you're going to review Ratchet and Clank anytime soon.
When are you reviewing Ratchet and Clank?
Jack, people have been asking for years. When the hell are you going to review Ratchet and Clank?
Where is it? When is it?
Review the damn game!
Many years of teasing and taunting has led to a massive public outrage to convince this man to review Ratchet and Clank.
Really, Jack? You're 200 episodes in, and you've never reviewed a single Ratchet and Clank game?
For the love of Quark, Jack, review Ratchet and Clank, you coward!
Where is this boy?
Donde la está la Ratchet y Clank revisa, Jack?
Jack, we got insomnia while waiting for those reviews.
I mean, you've been doing reviews for over a decade, and you still refuse to do a Ratchet and Clank review?
When the hell are you gonna review Ratchet and Clank?
You need to review Ratchet and Clank.
All I'm saying, buddy, is that you better get started because you got tons more to look forward to, baby.
If you don't play that game right now, I'll come over to your house and rip you a new one.
You think I'm playing around? Do you think this is a joke?
You're making these guys upset.
Jack, I'm at my own wedding right now, and all I can think about is when you're going to do the Ratchet and Clank review.
Go and play Ratchet and Clank!
Why are you going to play Ratchet and Clank, you dum-dum?
Why are you waiting so long, Jack?
Fucking play Ratchet and Clank, you coward.
Why are you so afraid of Ratchet and Clank? It doesn't bite. Look! It even has skateboarding in it!
You know everyone's been asking for it, so what the heck's the holdup, man? Come on, get your act together.
We're all waiting for it. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Undertale. What?
If you don't play it now, then I'll make you play it.
Dear Santa, for Christmas this year, I would love nothing more than for Square-Eyed Jack to review Ratchet and Clank on PS2. And for a Mickey Mouse onesie.
Remember me, Jack? It's been 6 years since PlayStation Move Heroes.
I am not a rip-off of Square-Eyed Jack.
But hey, things are going great now, except for one simple thing. When will you review Ratchet and Clank?
When are you gonna review Ratchet and Clank?
Ratchet and Clank, please.
Review Ratchet and Clank.
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 When are you going to review Ratchet and Clank?
Do Ratchet and Clank already.
When the hell are you going to check out Ratchet and Clank?
I want Square-Eyed Jack to review Ratchet and Clank.
Jack, you really need to review Ratchet and Clank, man.
Come on, what are you? A chicken?
Square-Eyed Jack? More like round-eyed bitch.
You better review this fucking game.
Have a great fucking day and review these fucking games.
It's been long overdue. Do it for the fans.
Please! We've been good!
Just get it done, and we'll stop pestering, okay?
If not for us, then for God's sake, think of the baby!
I'm still waiting on the Ratchet and Clank reviews.
You know, if you all wanted it so badly, well, all you had to do was ask. Alright, we're finally doing it, everyone! It's Ratchet and Clank, episode 200! Wow! Oh, I just want to start off by thanking everyone for subscribing and sticking with me throughout the years. You've all been so incredibly patient, and so I don't want to waste any more of your time. So let's just dive right in. But before we start, today's video is sponsored by... No, I'm just kidding. Nobody wants to sponsor this show. So, first impressions, I've got to say that for 2002, this one really starts off strong with its simple story of a defective little robot fella escaping from the clutches of an evil businessman who plans on Frankensteining his very own new planet after polluting his old one. But with Clank's abrupt escape crash landing into the open arms of Ratchet, the space furry who is looking for adventure, the duo set off to try and save the world. The visual style hits you immediately with a wave of nostalgia. I have played this original trilogy before, but not when I was younger. Somehow, despite being a PlayStation kid, these games escaped me, but as a fan of Jak and Daxter and a big fan of Insomniac's previous work, I'm immediately rushed with that warm, familiar feeling. Seeing early PS2 worlds brimming with activity, charming character designs, and that sound of smashing crates and collecting bolts is scrumptious to say the least. Now that's got to be one of my favourite genders, and honestly I'd expect nothing less from the team behind Spyro the Dragon. I mean, that satisfying, simplistic, yet timeless collectathon fun is carried over seamlessly here into the next generation of PlayStation, and I find that the opening level, Novalis, does everything correctly as a first level should to hook me out of the gate. It's a basic stage, but it introduces the platforming elements, the gun combat, it's got multiple different paths to explore, everything that makes the game tick, but probably most importantly, it introduces the sense of humour that would ultimately become a staple of the franchise.
Dad, blast it!
Look, plumber's crack.
What did you just say?
I said, look, the plumber's back.
Alright, wise guy.
Just the way this duo interact with the characters we meet and with each other, there is something charming to it. Unlike the brother franchise Jak and Daxter, where Jak is a mute, while Daxter doesn't shut the hell up with his loud, obnoxious Quagmire vibes, these are just two doofus mates riding by the seat of their pants, and because of that, it's relatable. They seem like the type of blokes that you'd want to hang out with in real life, if you know what I mean. Oh my god! It's Ratchet! And Clank!
Hey YouTuber man, I'm Ratchet!
What the hell are you doing here?
Well, I heard you don't like my games, so I'm here to make you play them.
Oh, that. No, that's just a big misunderstanding, okay? Hang on. What do you mean, make me play? Whoa, dude! Chill! Chill!
If you don't play my game, I'm gonna shove this wrench so far up your ass!
Hey! Look at the TV, you idiot!
Oh, okay. That's cool, man. Sorry about all that. Hey, I love this game. Do you mind if I play the next level?
Sure. Knock yourself out.
Awesome, thanks.
Just sitting back and taking in all of Metropolis is still a sight to behold after all these years. I mean, it sets such a high bar. Just look at the density of all the skyscrapers, all of the movement from traffic, and for what is in reality actually quite a small and straightforward level, it really does feel like there is something to see around every corner, behind every door, which all incentivizes exploration. And your efforts are usually paid off by stumbling into a crash course of jumping mechanics, wall hops, and gliding using Clank's helicopter pack. We get the swing shot, which becomes a crucial element to many levels' traversal, but there are also hidden caches of rewards hidden in plain sight, along with curiously low walls that catch the player's eyes and make you want to test to see if you can jump over them. And finally, there is the hover train segment, which isn't quite what I remember. It's no Uncharted 2, and I think if there is one thing we can give the 2016 reimagining credit for, it's the vast improvements on this section.
Aw man, don't bring that up. That shit was embarrassing.
Okay, look. For 2002, this is off the charts. Multi-layered level design really peaked in games like this on the PlayStation 2, given it's the earliest modern example of a living, breathing ecosystem. And the space setting is perfect for that, allowing for unlimited potential when it comes to level types. I'm always quite partial to a futuristic cityscape, but the ethereal industrial structures sat atop a swampy mud pit, the Mars-esque fiery desertscape we see on Gaspar, and this luscious earthy planet being culled of its resources all create so many stunning visuals and memorable landmarks, especially considering the wide range of traversal options, such as swimming through vast oceans and narrow pipes. We even get to race hoverboards, which is fun as hell. Nice little distraction mention kicking some flips and whatnot. And I'm also a fan of the rail grind sections. They're a lot of fun, if perhaps a little bit tedious after a while, but are definitely some of the most iconic moments that stay with you long after playing. But of course, the main selling point here is firepower. Ratchet is all about the gun combat and was initially pitched as a little alien fella who has a bunch of transformable robots to use as weapons, which was ultimately scrapped by the team given it really overcomplicated the game. So now it's just Ratchet and Clank and a whole array of automatic murder machines. But first things first, we've got to talk about Ratchet's wrench. So let me have a look at that thing.
No.
What? Why not?
Because it's not a toy, dude. I've killed people with this.
Okay, whatever. Just show us some of your moves.
Oh, okay.
Ratchet can swing the wrench around to hit bad guys and break crates, as well as use it to turn cranks that open doors and activate stuff within the levels. Oh, nice one, man. Nice. What else can you do?
Hey, check this out.
I'll admit that I'm a big fan of this move. Not only does it help you reach stuff further away and keep a bit of distance between yourself and incoming hordes without burning through ammunition, but it also looks really cool as well, seeing it boomerang through bad guys. Ratchet feels really snappy to control. There is never a time where you'll get hit or miss a jump and have anything to blame it on but yourself. And the way Clank's abilities are integrated into the moveset are so natural and really create a sense of flow as you float and thrust all over the map. Actions are swift and responsive, close quarters combat kicks ass, and all those shiny bolts we pick up can be used at weapon vendors to obtain some gnarly guns and gadgets, which is really the meat to the gameplay here. We've got everything and anything to suit your needs, from blasters and bomb gloves to flamethrowers and Tesla claws that sweep the terrain of enemies, and of course, your more devastating devastators and remote-controlled missile launchers. Growing up as a Jak and Daxter kid, I'll admit that I was always just a little envious of the variety in these tools of destruction, but the thing that really gets me is just how creative the team got with some of the more gimmicked weapons in the game. Weapons like the suck cannon, for example. It's a big-ass vacuum that drags in smaller enemies, which can then be fired as projectiles. That is such a clever concept, especially when things get a little heated late into levels and you're running out of ammunition. Well, now you can make your own, meaning the suck cannon is anything but sucky. Hey, where can I get one of those things? You know, for research purposes.
Listen, it's all fun and games when you put your dick in there. Until it gets launched into the stratosphere, killing an innocent bystander. Lawsuits out the ass.
Okay, what about the taunter? Well, unlike the suck cannon, this thing is more of a joke, but nobody's laughing. It just makes a bunch of fucking noise, which is supposed to lure enemies in your direction. Now I understand the purpose, but it is rarely ever relevant within normal gameplay. The Morpho Ray is another one that's kind of dumb, running around turning everyone into chickens. Then what's the point? Why not just blast them and get it over with?
Because it's funny?
Regardless of what boomstick you're using, it seems more efficient to just use the wrench in most scenarios. In fact, most enemies go down with only 1 or 2 strikes, so I say save your firepower for when it's essential and just go around whacking everything. Stop doing that! We've also got the Glove of Doom, which deploys little fellas to do your dirty work, and the Decoy Glove, which ejects a large inflatable Ratchet to distract enemies so that you can get by. However, the only stealth sections in the game rely more so on a robot disguise that Ratchet can wear. Hot swapping between items in the heat of action is made super intuitive thanks to the weapon wheel, allowing an efficient and easy method of selecting different items without the need for constant pausing or inventory management. While not the first game to implement this sort of UI design, I believe Clive Barker's Undying the prior year did this, as well as some other earlier examples. But I feel like there is no denying that this has gotta be the series' greatest contribution to the industry at a glance, given that everyone copied this in the years to come, so much so that it has become the standard. But with so many different items and only a limited number of spaces available, preparation is key before starting a new planet. Like, do I want to take the main gun that I use all the time and a gadget that's required to pass most levels? Or should I have the Sonic Summoner on standby? Boy, I forgot this even existed. It spawns these little creatures that follow you around and shoot nearby targets, but you can only equip them when you find one of their little hidey holes, so why bother? It's just a worse Glove of Doom. The trade-off of losing a slot for a much more reliable gun is never worth it, so most of this stuff ultimately takes a back seat for me. Much like how in Jak 3, the bloated selection of weapons becomes a moot point once you discover that dominant strategy of only really needing a handful of key items to get you through, all of which appear quite early on within the adventure.
Nah, mate. You don't need any of that stuff when you got the Rhino.
Yeah, but the Rhino is too damn expensive.
It's okay, dude. I know a cheat. Yeah, boy!
Okay, but how does that help with the Rhino?
Oh yeah, you bring the decoy over here, give him one of these, and now you can glitch into the hoverboard track to collect infinite bolts.
Wow, that's cool, but I need to keep the button pressed down. Pass me that wrench real quick. And now, we just wait. I can't go any longer without mentioning the music, composed by David Bergeau, best known within the gaming world for his contributions to this series and other Insomniac projects. You've got awesome tunes from tense mechanical pieces to all of the funky space shit that gets you bopping along. It's not the kind of music that I could listen to by itself outside of the game, personally, unlike Copeland's work in Spyro, but as an accompaniment to the environment each piece of music sets the tone for, it's a stellar soundtrack and definitely plays a big factor in the success of this game. And look, while we wait for Ratchet to harvest those bolts, let's take a closer look at Clank and see what he can do. Playing as Clank offers a new perspective exploring outside space stations or hard-to-reach spaces, often bossing around other weak beta robots because Clank is an alpha and doesn't take shit from nobody. These areas are more about puzzle solving, opening gates and commanding troops, which is fine, I guess. I appreciate the change of pace, though it does get a little long in the tooth, especially given that we already have this kind of stop-start puzzle solving elsewhere in the game. I mean, to even call them puzzles is a bit of a stretch. You often need gadgets like the Hydro Displacer to raise and lower the water level in rooms to access different heights, or the Trespasser, which unlocks doors. They serve their purpose, it's whatever. The real fun here is in the cockpit blasting at stuff, although perhaps this wasn't given enough attention if you ask me. Though it does give us something else to do, and especially if you're going for all the skill points, then there is a ton of different content in every location. These are hidden challenges such as destroying a set number of items, winning the hoverboard races within a strict time limit, or just stupid stuff like turning an armoured tank into a chicken. And you can unlock some really cool concept art and other cheats for putting the time in. Honestly, the gameplay loop here is so incredibly addicting. Ratchet and Clank are such a strong team mechanically, but are at odds with each other throughout most of the game. This bickering feels a bit forced in my opinion, all because of American Dad.
Good morning, USA!
Oh, you're talking to me. The supposed superhero of the galaxy actually working for the bad guy and ultimately attempting to knock off the duo? Man, Quark is so annoying. Listen, I know I complimented the sense of humour in the game, and yeah, it's mostly pretty good, but Quark has always been the exception for me. But listen, I know that he gets worse in later games, so I'll just ignore it for now. What's your opinion of Captain Quark?
Quark? Quark's a chin-waggling, lobotomized child from outer space who hog, his dumb hairy ass, his muscular pecs, I hate that.
Yeah, my sentiments exactly. The first time I played through this game years ago, I really hit the difficulty curve to the point of frustration. While I've not had nearly as much trouble this time around, I've had to consciously avoid burning through all of my ammunition, and there are only so many bolts on the ground to be collected. Though tedious, the concept of the metal detector is pretty cute in my opinion. Sure, it breaks the pace of gameplay, but collectathon brain go brrr. But it's Gorda City Ruins that really squeezes your nuts. In this part of the game, there is a lightning storm, so Clank has to remain on the ship, meaning that we can't use any of his additional maneuverability to get us through here. You really learn to appreciate what he adds to your movement when it's no longer available to you, and without a sensible way to strafe or shoot from cover, it can make you feel very exposed. But I like that. It's a nice challenge and makes you feel accomplished when you make it through, whereas Jowai Resort on Pokotaru, which in my memory was this stunning, vibrant and expansive stage, was actually underwhelming playing it today. There just isn't much substance here. Maybe I'm remembering the 2016 remake, which I doubt is actually any better. But it's funny though, the levels that I hated most years ago are, ironically, the ones I enjoyed playing the most on this playthrough. I do find that experimenting with the different approaches each weapon has to offer is where a lot of the fun lies here. You've got an abundance of tools, but it's up to the player to spice things up. While weapons and firefights are ultimately the glue that holds this game together, there are also gold bolts to scratch your collectathon itch. These are pretty much your only jiggy to find out there, which is fine. Some are in some pretty clever spots, and each can be used, along with a buttload of bolts, to purchase golden upgrades for each of your weapons, giving them new abilities such as ricocheting bullets, stronger damage, and better effectiveness. But again, these cost quite a bit, so you're gonna need the bolts to take advantage, and even still, you need to start a new game on challenge mode in order to access most of these upgrades. So, to do that, we've got to defeat Chairman Drek. Will you do the honors, Ratchet?
Let's wreck his hull.
This final stage back on Ratchet's home planet of Veldon is brutal, man. Just the toughest assholes swarming all over the map. The only way you can even stand a chance against such an onslaught is spamming the Visor Bomb and taking everyone out from a distance.
Well, if we had the Rhino, this wouldn't be a problem.
Oh, shut up about the damn Rhino! Ugh. This is a pretty cool boss fight though. Nothing strikes fear like a massive health bar and an onslaught of screen wiping attacks. Once we get to the main battle arena, things heat up as we need to regularly race to the center and slam down on this button to prevent total annihilation. But with some resourceful shooting and a solid understanding of Ratchet's entire moveset, Drek is history. Ratchet invites Clank over for some hot coffee with the sup cannon, and the credits roll. Now, we're given the choice of jumping back to before we started the boss fight, or creating a new save file while retaining almost everything we've earned up until this point. Now for me, I usually don't think a game warrants a second playthrough immediately following completion of the story. Unless there is a whole bunch of additional content to discover, I'm usually done with the game, and in the case of Ratchet, there just isn't enough for me. Ignoring that I already managed to find all of the gold bolts and hidden skill points, one of the only things worth the effort is saving up for the Rhino to see what all the fuss is about, and whoa boy, is this a bad boy. This gun is definitely fun to mess around with, but I really don't see the appeal of playing the game again like this. It strips the challenge away, as you can basically just blitz everything without a second thought, and I just cannot see the fun in that. Maybe I'm alone on this, I don't really know. Everyone always bangs on about New Game Plus, but honestly, I've never really seen the appeal of running any game a second time through, supercharged, without any real purpose. Look, despite some of the gripes I may have here and there, overall the core gameplay loop here is so addictive. Shooting, collecting and exploring that still holds up over 20 years later. It's quite a curious game, one that blends two eras so expertly. If you think about when this game released, the industry was experiencing a radical shift from the family-friendly mascot titles and into the grit and realism of adult shooters and themes. Of course, this led to many established brands scrambling to bridge the gap, but none managed better than Ratchet in my opinion, with how it catered to the entire family thanks to its gameplay by implementing both styles coherently. Characters' personalities also didn't try too hard to be edgy or cool.tm, because they didn't need to be. They were already fun, relatable and grounded without needing to try, so if you could sum it up in a single word, it would be effortless. If I had any complaints, it was perhaps some of the awful and pointless gadgets like this one, which is only used to access a single golden bolt. Stupid. I'm also disappointed with the magnet boots. It's a cool concept, but feels very restricting to the core gameplay, given the slow plotting pace and its potential not being fully realised just yet. It's a shame that much of the later game feels a little rushed, with the scope of environments failing to hide the weak playable space, unlike Metropolis, which was the thriving example of this earlier on. I guess my only other complaint is perhaps what time was put into the sheer variety of once or twice off gimmicks, that maybe a little bit more of that variety could have been added to the collectathon elements, you know? Such as maybe using the metal detector to find something actually useful, like the occasional gold bolt, or maybe a secret enemy jump scare or something like that. But even still, you're not going to hear many complaints from me about this one. It still looks great, the soundtrack is awesome, and most importantly, the gameplay is just so solid. Man, why did I wait so long to talk about this one? Oh, I'm such an idiot. But I'm so glad that I finally get to give Ratchet a score. That classic Square Eye Jack stamp of approval, 7 out of 10. Well, there you have it, people. Ratchet and Clank is done! Finally! So you can all stop pestering me now. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe to the channel.
Oh no, you're not done yet.
I played your damn game, the people are satisfied. What more do you want from me?
You've still got more games to play, mate.
Fine, I'll play them all. Eventually. I'm gonna stick with just the trilogy for now, but this 200th episode just turned into a 3-part special. So be sure to tune in later this week as we go commando for the next installment in this iconic franchise. You don't want to miss out, so make sure you subscribe and turn on those notifications. Thank you all so much for watching, and to those special folks who contributed to this video. Of course, I'd like to extend thanks to everyone who has supported this channel over the years by watching, making artwork, and harassing the absolute bejesus out of me to make this video. I love all of you, even the crazy ones. Major appreciation to everyone supporting me over on Patreon, and I'd like to give a very special thank you to Perfect Displays for supplying us with our very own Ratchet for the video. Is there anything you'd like to say, buddy?
I hope you have a great fucking day.
Hell yeah. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye-bye.